Welcome, Patriots, to the Raw Feed. I'm Gary Franchi, and you're watching the show that brings you the unfiltered truth while the mainstream media spins their propaganda. We're streaming live to millions worldwide on YouTube and simultaneously broadcasting on Rumble and X, so make sure you're following us on all platforms because big tech censorship is real. We need multiple ways to reach you with the truth. Know what sets the Raw Feed apart? We don't just talk at you, we talk with you. Your reactions, your insights, your passion for America. That's what fuels this show. So light up that chat and let us know where you're watching from and get ready for an explosive show. And for those watching on X right now, repost the stream to your followers and everyone grab your phones and text this link to bypass the algorithm. They don't want this information spreading, which is exactly why we need you to be the media. And if you want to show off your favorite news source, you can check out our merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. We've got Alligator Alcatraz, President Autopen, and our American Badass series lets the world know exactly where you stand. If you want to support the show privately, hit those donation links in the description. Your generosity is what allows us to bring you uncensored news without corporate overlords controlling the narrative. And remember, you can also become a YouTube channel member. Each level unlocks special perks, exclusive acknowledgement in the chat, behind-the-scenes uploads, and access to our members-only 24/7 Discord chat, where patriots like Kenny gather to discuss the real issue. Now, on this day in history, August 13th, 1971, a true patriot was born. Our brother, Pothead Kenny. For over 5 decades, Kenny has embodied the American spirit of independence, free thinking, and unwavering support for truth. And as one of the most valued supporters of the Next News Network, a true general in the N3 Army, Kenny's been with us through every battle against the fake news and censorship. And his birthday reminds us that real change happens when patriots like Kenny stand together against tyranny. So happy birthday, brother. Your dedication inspires us daily. Now, today we've got bombshell declassified emails proving the Russia hoax was manufactured from the very top. Trump's takeover, the federal takeover of D.C. that has criminals running scared, and a summit with Putin that could change the course of history, all while China locks down over mosquitoes and our border has 0 crossings for 3 straight months. And just like Kenny has stood for freedom today, we are witnessing President Trump standing firm against the swamp, from cleaning up D.C. streets to exposing the Russia hoax architects, from securing our border to pursuing peace through strength. It's patriots like Kenny that have helped make this possible by supporting independent media when it matters most. So we're about to expose the federal takeover of D.C. streets, where even Democrats are secretly cheering. The complete reversal of our border crisis with 3 months of 0 crossings. China's new mosquito lockdown insanity. The unraveling of the Russia hoax with Hillary potentially facing indictments. And Trump's historic summit with Putin that has the war machine in full panic mode. So today's show is dedicated to our good friend, my brother from another mother, Pothead Kenny, the backbone of our movement. He has been here for so long. A true patriot who refuses to surrender to the narrative. You are why we do this. You are why truth still has a voice. So buckle up, patriots. The Raw Feed starts now. Trust me, you don't want to miss a single minute of what's coming. From federal agents flooding Georgetown to cartel kingpins in handcuffs, from China's tyranny to deep state panic, we're covering all with the best audience in alternative media. The truth tsunami is about to hit, and we are riding it together. And now, we need to find out where Pothead Kenny is, as a matter of fact. Should we give him a call? Let's see if he answers. Let's see if Pothead Kenny... Where is he? Pothead Kenny. We are coming at you right now. Where are you? Where is he? You are going to be the star of the show right now. Where is he? Where is Pothead Kenny? Lord Rhodius, yes, you want an update on Fort Knox? So do I. That's something they have not talked about. Where is he? Pothead Kenny. Well, while we wait for him, We are going to go ahead and welcome you to the show. We got Native Texas, Karen Finley, Robert Dawson, Show Me State. We got Artificial Telemetry, watching from the part of Ukraine that belongs to Russia. Wow. Tom B420, R. Boyd, Michael J. Taylor, Kathy Dunn. Well, there he is. There he is. There he is.
I am here.
Live on the Next News Network. Open your camera. Let the world see the man on his birthday.
I love you. I love you with all my heart.
Oh, man. There he is.
I love you so much with all my heart. I'm sorry I don't have my hat.
That's okay. Pothead Kenny in the house.
Oh, my God.
You are live on the Next News Network's raw feed.
I'm sorry I don't have my hat. That's okay. Pothead Kenny in the house. Oh, my God. You are live on the Next News Network's raw feed.
Kenny, if you would just go ahead and mute the show in the background, that would be great.
I'm going to go on the TV. There you go.
There he is.
I'm here, Gary. I'm sorry I don't have my hat.
Hey.
I gotta tell you that you're the most beautiful man I've ever seen in my life. I can't wait to the day I hug you.
Brian, is this audio coming through the show, or is it not? Oh, it's coming through the microphone? Okay, I thought it would pick up through the signal here.
Back and forth with me, too.
What's that?
Gary, I love you, and God bless you.
God bless you too, man.
I just wish I could hug you.
Well, maybe that'll
I
happen.
want to hug you. Thank God for our Boyd and Jeremy Olson. You got great people here, Gary. We love you.
Well, you guys
It
are...
ain't just me. It's everybody. We really do love you, Gary. Thank you. Everything you do, from Karen, from our Boyd, from Jeremy Olson, from Shuru, from everybody. I hope you know everything I do is because of you. I love you.
Well, I love you too, man. You are dedicated.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Gary. I hope you know how much I want to hug you.
Well, we can do it virtually for now. How does that sound?
Well, thank God, and I hope everybody here at N3 knows how much of a heart we have. Because we will give honest God truth. And we will give patriotic truth to everybody that's willing to listen.
Love you, man. I wanted to bring you on the show for your birthday. And we do have to get the show rolling. But I want to do this special moment for you.
Gary, I love you. You fucking rule. You rule, bro.
All right, buddy. Hey, happy birthday.
My birthday. Your birthday should be every day.
Well,
Thank God for Gary Franchi, Angie Franchi. My God, you guys are beautiful.
well, now today you are the special guest on the Next News Network's raw feed. So, you know,
I love you.
I talked to Tom today. I talked to Todd. And they're like, you need to give Pothead Kenny a call. I'm like, you know, I have something better in store. I'll call him live on the show. How about that for his birthday?
Did you tell Tom B420 I love him? Keep being him.
Oh,
Don't worry about the abstracts.
he hears you, man. You're live. He's watching you right now.
I love Tom B420. He's a beautiful man.
I love him too. I love all you guys.
By the way, our Boyd is your biggest guy. Our Boyd is the one who holds the family together. Thank God for our Boyd.
All right, Pothead Kenny, I do have a show to do. I've got a show.
Go,
I love you, man. Want to bring you on?
Hey, we're Patriot. Let's go, baby.
Let's go. All right. Enjoy the show, buddy. Happy birthday.
I love you.
I love you too, man. Bye-bye. All right. How was that for a birthday surprise? Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. Tom B. 420. Our Boyd. You guys have all been around for a long time, and I love you for it. Okay. So we've got a lot of news we've got to get to. I want to make sure that we acknowledged one of our biggest fans out there today. But we got Native Texas, David Williams, Karen Finley, and Cindy in the house. Pegathief 2, Alice Cersei, Kathy Gorman, Drew B, Michael Jones, my darling Angel, Nish Paquette. We got Nikki Rev, Ms. Pothead Kenny, Unite for Strength, Edwin Pupo, Joseph Persons. The gang is all here tonight. Antonia, Dr. Insomnia is here. Native Texan. Frank James in the house as well. But let's get to our news because we got to talk about what's happening in Washington, D.C. But first, we're going to hit our trivia question. In 1932, which president sent federal troops to D.C. to crush protesters? Was it Herbert the Tank Commander Hoover, Franklin the Wheelchair Warrior Roosevelt, C, Calvin Silent but Deadly Coolidge, or D, Warren Scandal King Harding? You guys tell me in the chat, comment, or the poll, and we're going to move right into our first topic of the evening. Federal agents are flooding the streets of our nation's capital right now, and what they're finding is shocking, even hardened law enforcement. From Georgetown to Columbia Heights, a massive operation is underway that has the potential that has the political establishment in full panic mode. But here's what the mainstream media will not tell you. Behind closed doors, even Democrats are admitting the truth about what's really happening. The president made a promise about Washington, D.C., and he's keeping it in ways that have residents saying things they haven't said in decades. What you're about to see is going to change everything you thought you knew about crime in America's capital, so stay with me. Now, if you're getting close to retirement, or just thinking ahead, you've probably done a solid job of saving. But here's something most people don't consider. How much of that money is just sitting in cash? It might feel safe, but holding too much cash guarantees one thing. You're losing purchasing power. Inflation eats away at it, and the dollar's value keeps slipping. That's why more people are looking at real assets like physical gold and silver. And Noble Gold Investments, they make it easy. Buy gold or silver, have it shipped to your house, or you can have it stored securely. Visit nextnewsgold.com. The number on the screen, 877-646-5347. Give him a call and tell Colin that Gary Franchi said hello. Oh, and my frog just fell off the table. So sad. We will have to do a recovery session for that. But first, we've got a lot of news in this segment. A lot to unpack. President Trump at the Kennedy Center today. We have his remarks. But first, I think you might want to hear from this cab driver, a man who's seen firsthand what crime in Washington, D.C. looks like.
Let's make this better. I drove a cab in D.C. I know every inch of the city. To have seen over the years the deterioration of public places, either with graffiti or with people living who are homeless, they say, living on the street. I couldn't be more encouraged by the fact that there are people now that really want to say, stop, let's make this better. I drove a cab in
Let's
D.C.
make it
I know
better.
every inch.
And that's what President Trump is doing. He's also offering ride-alongs to expose crime. He says that the media can ride with Washington, D.C. police to see the crime crisis firsthand, blasting the rigged crime stats, and insists the city's safety is its worst in 20 years, despite the mayor's rosy claims. Listen.
Very professional.
Would you encourage members of the press to do ride-alongs with the D.C. police to understand how serious this crime issue is?
Sounds, it's okay to me if they want to do it. We're going to work with the D.C. police. A lot of very good people in there. Not all, but a lot of very good, very professional. And, we have a big force. I think they said 3,500. They're always asking the mayor, who's a very nice woman, but got to do the job. We've worked with the mayor for 6 months, and she's been here for many years. And the numbers are worse than they ever are. Don't let anyone tell you they're not. And the whole statistical charts that they made, the whole thing is a rigged deal. They got rid of the guy because he didn't want to do the numbers the way they wanted to, and they put their own numbers out. They said it's the best in 20 years. No, it's the worst in 20 years. But we're going to be very open about what we're doing. So if the media wants to ride with police, if they want to do it, if they feel it's safe, that would be okay.
If you feel it's safe, would you do it? Should I do it? Crime fight may win the Democrats. Trump says Democrats fear criticism, but crime is 100-0 issue. Predicts even Democrats may join Republicans to make D.C. safe, slamming those calling him a dictator instead of joining his mission to clean up the Capitol.
They should say the Democrats are afraid to do anything because they don't want to be criticized. But fighting crime is a good thing. We have to explain. We're going to fight crime. That's a good thing. Already they're saying he's a dictator. The place is going to hell, and we've got to stop it. So instead of saying he's a dictator, they should say we're going to join him and make Washington safe. But they say he's a dictator, and then they end up getting mugged, and but the stats are very bad. But we're going to. I think we'll actually get Democrat support. I really believe they can't do this one too. It's they talk about 80-20 issues, but I think many of those 80-20 issues, like men and women's sports, I think it's 97-3, not 80-20, and I think crime is maybe 100-0. So I think we may get very well some Democrat support, but I hope so. But even if we don't, we have the majority, so we're going to vote it in as Republicans.
We got some more from the president's remarks when he vows to fix D.C., promising to make Washington safe, clean, and beautiful fast.
Be prepared. But as I said earlier, I'm determined to make Washington, D.C. safe, clean, and beautiful again. It's going to take place very rapidly. Be prepared. And a big part of that's going to include the Kennedy Center. So thank you very much. And I want to thank everybody for helping us. This is mostly the group right here they're young. They're smart, they're ambitious, they want my job. Someday one of them will probably have it. But we have a great group of people that are putting this together, and they're also helping us with Washington, D.C. We're going to make Washington beautiful. We're going to redo roads. We're going to redo the medians, the pavers, and the medians all throughout the city. We're going to take all the graffiti off. We're going to have to remove the tents and the people that are living in our parks. We're going to be redoing the parks, the grasses and all. We're going to be going to Congress for a relatively small amount of money, and Lindsey and the Republicans are going to be approving it. I don't know about the Democrats. They don't approve anything. It's amazing. It's like they just don't want to vote for anything. They've got the yips. In golf they say the yips. But as I said earlier,
the yips, he says. You play golf? Here he is talking about statehood for D.C., calling it ridiculous and unacceptable.
Ridiculous. Statehood is ridiculous. We want to straighten the place out. Statehood's ridiculous. It's unacceptable. It's the Democrats want it because the Democrats have, about 95% in this little area. Even I didn't get it very much. They want that. They want to pick up 2 senators, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And that's the least of the reasons why, by the way, but that's one of the reasons why. What we want to do is make Washington, D.C., the greatest, most beautiful, safest capital anywhere in the world, and that's going to happen.
It's happening already. Here we have this. MSNBC on Scarborough. Eric Matheny says there are no police in Georgetown because Georgetown is a safe neighborhood. There are significantly more police officers in high crime areas because those are high in crime. I don't get what she doesn't understand.
Ward 8, if
You don't think more police make streets safer?
No, Joe, I'm a black woman in America. I do not always think that more police make streets safer. When you walk down the streets of Georgetown, you don't see a police officer on every corner, but you don't feel unsafe. So what is it about talking about places like Southeast D.C., right? Ward 8, if you will, that people say, well, we need more officers to make us safe. I think we have to rethink what safety means in America.
It's kind of funny how she brings up Ward 8. as if she's admitting that's a high crime area. I'm not sure anything. I don't know where Ward 8 is, but here is Charlie Kirk calling for full military occupation of American cities. Stu Peters is like, WTF on this.
Here's President Donald Trump saying once we liberate D.C., and by the way, I guarantee that it's going to go whoop, it's going to go way down. And then the media will say, oh, it's only going down because he brought in the military. Exactly. We need full military occupation of these cities until the crime desists. Period. We need a desisting of crime in our cities. We're not going to put up with it. I want to be able to walk Magnificent Mile in Chicago without having to look over my shoulder.
He brings up Chicago. Yeah, I'm actually from Chicago, and walking the Magnificent Mile can be pretty scary at night. I mean, we've seen like masses of kids in the summertime just raging through the streets, even on Navy Pier. It's terrifying. But to consider a full military occupation of all the major cities in the country, that would basically be martial law. Is that something that we want? It's not something I've ever advocated for. But is that where we are in this country, that we actually have to implement a level of martial law to get the crime down? I mean, when you have cities like Chicago, Mayor Brandon Johnson, who has anxiety attacks every time he has to, face the music, and he hides in his house for weeks on end because he's having, a mental breakdown, maybe the leadership is gone. Maybe the only leadership you can have will come from Washington, D.C. to clean up the mess. It's a scary thing to consider that this nation has fallen so far that people like Charlie Kirk are advocating for martial law. Okay. Here we have this. This is Scarborough says Trump is right. Democrats in D.C. are privately cheering Trump's moves to crack down on crime. Listen to this.
I will just go back to the fact that, the people that are cheering this on privately are not like right-wing Republicans, are not MAGA people. A lot of our friends are in the media, and also Democrats that worked on Joe Biden's campaign, that worked on other campaigns, that are saying, yeah, I'd like to feel safe walking around this city. If the federal government can be a positive partner in keeping the streets safe, while, again, forming a partnership with the D.C. police and not taking over, then at least the people I've spoken with that live in D.C. day in, day out, see this as a positive step.
Wow.
I think it's also
the fact that this is coming from Joe Scarborough. He's presenting it on MSNBC. That's gonna wake up a lot of people that need to be red-pilled to the safety factor that President Trump is presenting into that city. And here we have this. Here's a clip from CNN. I can't tell you how profoundly stupid it is for Democrats to get up with their facts and figures.
And I think a few things can be true. One is that I think he's using this issue to distract for some other things. That doesn't mean it's a bad political strategy. I think it's a very good one. And the numbers can be what they are, but also people don't feel that way. And when it comes to two things, crime and the economy, feelings don't really care about your facts. And I can't tell you how profoundly stupid it is for Democrats to get up with their facts and their figures and their charts and their graphs and say, look, you're safe. Can't you read this chart, idiots? Why are you complaining? I'm showing you right here how safe you are, so shut up and move along. I don't have to tell you how profoundly stupid that is, because voters told you how profoundly stupid that was in 2024 when Democrats said, see these economic numbers? The economy's great. What are you complaining about? See these crime numbers? Crime's down. You're safe. See these immigration numbers? Obama deported way more. There's no migrant crisis. I can't tell you enough that politics is perception, and the numbers can be right, but you never tell voters they're wrong about how they feel. Congress. Yeah, I think.
Ain't that true? Wow. We've got some more here. A brutal question from CNN's Cassie Hunt to Democrat D.C. AG Brian Schwab. Let's talk about D.C. residents for a second, because these are the headlines.
Different from... So let's talk about D.C. residents for a second, because these headlines, and I was a resident of D.C. for over 20 years. I've lived in all but 3 D.C. wards, okay? These headlines are different from when I first came to the city. 13-year-old girl, 13, sentenced to 7 years for 2023 beating death of a D.C. man. Teen sentenced in killing of Lyft driver who came to U.S. seeking safety. This was a guy who was a U.S. military interpreter who was shot and killed in an attempted carjacking, again, by a 16-year-old. Now, juveniles fall under you, and the D.C. Attorney General, D.C. Attorney Jeanine Pirro, has focused in on this inability that she says she has to prosecute juveniles. The law allows people up to the age of 24 years old to potentially have more lenient sentences from judges. Is that working for people in D.C.?
We've got some more. Check out this guy here. A very peaceful D.C. morning.
I came all the way down Pennsylvania Avenue this morning. So peaceful, yeah. I don't smell no weed, yeah. I don't see no homeless people. I mean, I came all the way through the southeast side, all the way down here. You can see now I'm at the White House jump, man. It's quiet, yeah. It's a shame that it takes somebody to have to sit in your classroom in order for you to be in order, yeah. Because that's what it feels like, yeah. You got to be babysitted to do your job, yeah. Stuff been out of control for years. You got to do better, yeah. You got to do better, yeah. And mainly, young, you got the problems. It's us, man. It's always us giving everybody a bad name, yeah. We'll see how long this lasts, yeah. How many murders was it last night? How many carjackings was it last night? Talk to me. And y'all keep on posting all these data numbers and things of that nature that y'all see everybody else reposting. The stuff that came from the Metropolitan Police Department and the mayor, yeah. Let me tell you something, yeah. Let me tell you something. You can't be that stupid. You can't be, man. Who enters that information to get that data analysis, yeah? People do. You can enter whatever numbers you want to make whatever report show what, but you can't hide the crime, young. You can't do it. Let me give you something to break it down to you for those that don't understand. I retired from UPS, right? So what they used to do to play with the numbers or whatever, we have mission packages. You'll have drivers over the hours. They'd go in and enter the information and the report would show whatever they needed to show to keep their bonus that week for their bosses not to fire their ass. So stop believing that stuff. And I don't know if you ever had to deal with the DC government, young, but they suck, young. They have got a lot more better now that the officers have did what they had to do and got all of these people out of the government and got rid of the riffraff and things of that nature. People actually do work now. Let me give you this for example, right? You got carry and conceals or whatever that were being issued by the DC separate department that was handling the gun licensing and things of that nature. They went from turnaround time for like 4 months, 5 months for you to have to damn get a gun registered in DC and get a carry and conceal to 2 weeks. It used to take you 3 months just to get an appointment to talk to somebody and take your information and your gun down there. Now, you go online right now and they got appointments available tomorrow. How does that happen? What changed? You put some fire under their asses and now they want to do some work.
The fire is here, President Trump. It's just cleaning it up all over the place. Here's some more from President Trump at the Kennedy Center on congressional Democrats.
A waste of time.
Do you plan to meet with Leader Schumer and Leader Jeffries to discuss that situation?
Well, I will, I guess, but it's almost a waste of time to meet because they never approve anything. If we want money to fight crime, if we want money to do only good things, just good things. Let's not even talk about controversial. They don't want to meet about anything. They really are. They're stuck. They don't know what to do. They have probably more, I would say more than half are sane, but they are led by insane people.
Do you plan to meet with Leader Schumer?
More than half are sane, but they're led by insane people. Okay, so check this out. A reporter asked about the federalization of the police. has only a 30-day limit unless Congress acts to extend it. What does President Trump say?
Your federalization of the police has a 30-day limit unless Congress acts to extend it. Are you talking to Congress about extending it, or do you believe 30 days is sufficient?
Well, if it's a national emergency, we can do it without Congress, but we expect to be to Congress before Congress very quickly. And again, we think the Democrats will not do anything to stop crime, but we think the Republicans will do it almost unanimously. So we're going to need a crime bill that we're going to be putting in, and it's going to pertain initially to D.C. We're going to use it as a very positive example, and we're going to be asking for extensions on that, long-term extensions, because you can't have 30 days. 30 days that's by the time you do it. We're going to have this in good shape, and don't forget, in the border, everyone said it would take years and you'd have to go back to Congress. I never went to Congress for anything. I just said, close the border. And they closed the border. And that was the end of it. I didn't go back to Congress. We're going to do this very quickly. But we're going to want extensions. I don't want to call national emergency. If I have to, I will. But I think the Republicans in Congress will approve this pretty much unanimously.
Did you hear what he said about having Washington, D.C. be a template? Kind of echoes what Charlie Kirk was alluding to about the federal takeover of other cities. So maybe there will be something built into that bill that will allow for the crime bill and the federalization of other cities' police. I'm not sure how the law, I mean, if Congress passes the law, then, that's a little hard to argue with. But of course, there will be lawsuits and people screaming, gnashing of teeth. Here we have this. Christopher Webb says that this is sad. New video shows FBI, MPD, and DEA agents patrolling the streets of Georgetown neighborhoods of Washington like it's some kind of war zone. This isn't a crime emergency. It's pure political theater by Trump. That's what this guy says. But I think the D.C. citizens see this a little bit differently. So you look at them all walking through. I mean, they're just trying to make the city safe again. Have you ever been to Washington, D.C.? Have you ever been there? I know that when I've gone, I have to check the crime stats. And I keep close watch on the news cycle with respect to when, police actions happen. It's scary. But now this type of activity is going to squash all that. FNTV bringing us this video. Let's keep going. We got some more for you tonight.
New video just into our...
Here's another resident of D.C.
We need all the protection that we can get in the city because the city is really getting dangerous. A person like me at this age, I have to make sure to come home before sundown. We need all...
You have to be home before sundown. How scary is that? God bless America. Here's a Muse posting. Look at this presence. Horseback, full military gear. They are making themselves known. President Trump is not messing around. Here is the DEA headquarters administrator, Terry Cole, talking about how they're going to be embedded with the Metro Police.
On another response, it's not safe. People do not feel safe. The amount of citizens that have come up to me on the street and said, thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for taking on another responsibility. We appreciate the federal agents that are out there every single night. And now, starting tonight, we will be embedded with the Metropolitan Police Department. You will see federal agents working hand in hand on patrol with the Metropolitan Police Department. You will also see an increase of activity, patrol activity, in certain sectors to go after the violent criminal offenders that are the drivers of this crime. We cannot afford to turn a blind eye, Martha.
And that's exactly what President Trump is no longer going to let them do. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. Now, this isn't just about cleaning up D.C. It's about reclaiming America's capital from the criminals who've held it hostage. When elderly residents can't walk their own streets after dark, when teenagers get yoga classes for shooting people, right? That's what they're doing. They're getting yoga classes. When Georgetown looks like a war zone, that's not America, that's surrender. Trump's federal intervention proves what we've always known. When you actually enforce the law, crime drops. When you stop coddling violent offenders, neighborhoods become safe again. And even Democrats who spent years calling Trump a dictator are secretly admitting they want to feel safe in their own city. So the real question is this: will they have the courage to support law and order publicly, or keep pretending crime stats matter more than dead kids? Now here's my question for you. Should Trump extend the federal control of D.C. permanently? Yes or no? How long do you think it's going to take? And while you're at it, check out our merch shop. Link down below. Show the world that you stand with law and order. Okay, we got a super chat from Tom B420. Yeah, baby. What up? And Miss Pothead Kenny also. Tom B says, let's get this started. Ms. Pothead Kenny says, thank you so very much for making Kenny's birthday a special day. Love you and your family. That meant a lot to him and me. Well, we're happy to be able to make his day. So happy. All right, we're going to move right along, and we're going to find out what the question is. Uh-oh. Let's see. Okay, the answer was Herbert Hoover. The Hoover sent Army tanks and troops to crush the bonus Army veterans camping in D.C., making Trump's cleanup look gentle by comparison. You guys got it wrong, though.
How dare you?
Unreal. My goodness, guys. I thought better of you. All right, let's get to our next question of the evening, and then we'll go to our segment. Did you hear about this new China virus? Here's a trivia question. What did China use to enforce their one-child policy in the 1980s? A, mosquito sterilization squads. B, forced abortions and fines. C, baby-eating robots. Or D, mandatory TikTok dances. I'll let you guys answer that one in the comments, the chat, or the poll. But let's get into our next segment of the night. They're back at it again. The same authoritarian playbook that locked down Wuhan is now being deployed across southern China, but this time the enemy isn't invisible. It's flying. Thousands infected, entire districts sealed, drones in the sky, and quarantine beds that look like something out of a dystopian nightmare. The CDC just issued an urgent travel warning that has Americans asking some hard questions, but here's what's really disturbing. Certain globalist doctors have been predicting disease outbreaks would conveniently emerge during Trump's term, almost like they're hoping to derail his agenda. And when you see what's happening on the ground in Guangdong province, you'll understand why some experts are calling this another weapon of control. So don't look away. And while China locks down over mosquitoes, Americans need to focus on what we can control, our health. As we age, our body's collagen production declines, leading to visible signs of aging like wrinkles, sagging skin, crow's feet, and smile lines. And by the time we reach our 40s, collagen levels have significantly decreased, dropping another 1% each year afterwards. Collagen makes up a third of our skin's protein, giving it structure and strength. So replenishing it is crucial, and that's exactly why I've relied on Ageless Multi-Collagen for years. Of course, you've seen us. They've sponsored this show for a very long time. Now, the formula includes 5 key types of collagen from 4 premium sources, blended into hydrolyzed peptides your body absorbs faster. Every order today donates a meal to a hungry child through NoKidHungry.org. Get 51% off at healthwithgary.com. You'll find it linked down below. Now, I'm going to take you back before we get into all the details of what's happening in China right now, because this is a very important video. It provides important context. In early December of 2024, Dr. Peter Hotez oddly predicted that starting on Inauguration Day, January 21st, major infectious diseases events, including more avian flu news, would hit the U.S. It's almost like the current infectious disease psyops were planned. Now listen to his words, and then we're going to get into what's happening in China right now.
The reason why we need to care about this stuff, Nicole, is that we have some big picture stuff coming down the pike starting on January 21st. Mr. Bloomberg mentioned H5N1. That I'm really worried about. It's all over wild birds on the western part of the United States and going up in the north. It's getting into the poultry. We're seeing sporadic human cases, no human-to-human transmission yet, but that could happen. It's in the cattle, it's in the milk, and that's just the beginning. We have another major coronavirus likely brewing in Asia. We've had SARS in 2002, SARS-2, COVID-19 in 2019, and we know these viruses are jumping from bats to people thousands of times a year, but there's still more. We know that we have a big problem with mosquito-transmitted viruses all along the Gulf Coast, where I am here in Texas. So we're expecting dengue and possibly Zika virus coming back, or a Puche virus. Maybe.
Did you hear what he said?
That we have a big problem with mosquito-transmitted viruses all along the Gulf Coast,
Wow.
where I am here in Texas. So we're expecting dengue and possibly Zika virus coming back, or a Puche virus, maybe even yellow fever. And there's more. Then we have all this sharp rise in vaccine-preventable diseases going up because...
So, listen to that. That was back in February of 24. Authorities have now released millions of mosquitoes in a disease control program, but China is now experiencing its largest chikungunya outbreak. China mandating blood tests. China now in lockdown mode. This time it is mosquitoes. Hustle, bitch. Posting that 7,000 plus infected with chikungunya, a rare mosquito virus. Entire districts in Guangdong sealed off. Patients isolated in mosquito-proof quarantine beds. Drones, fines, chemical sprays, COVID-style crackdown. A virus that doesn't spread person to person, and they're locking people up again. Video emerging from China of them fogging the streets. Here we have BB McGuire posting all the hyperventilating over chikungunya in China. Remember when in early December we played that? Thousands in China isolated in hospitals again as the mosquito virus wreaks havoc. And then now the CDC has issued a travel warning following the outbreak. I mean, what's worse? I mean, getting bit by the mosquito or inhaling that stuff? But what is it? What is chikungunya? Chikungunya. A travel warning for the outbreak is a virus that is spread.
Mosquitoes, the same mosquitoes that can spread Zika and dengue.
According to CDC, common symptoms are high fever, severe joint muscle pain, headache, fatigue, and skin rash. Most people recover in 7 to 10 days, but in some cases, symptoms can persist for weeks or months.
Even though there are hundreds of thousands of cases a year, it is relatively rare in the United States. But these vector-borne illnesses, these are illnesses spread by bugs, are on the rise. So it is important that we're paying attention to these outbreaks that can happen after monsoons. People are aware and realize that with climate change, hotter and wetter climates, the bugs are happy, and it's up to us to be proactive.
He says because of climate change. The CDC recommends vaccination for travelers visiting areas with active outbreaks and those spending extended time abroad. Experts advise that travelers in the area wear long sleeves and pants, use insect repellent with
communities across the country on alert as cases of mosquito-borne viruses are on the rise. ABC's M. Nguyen is joining us now. And M, these warnings are happening on a very busy holiday weekend. Good morning.
Busy indeed, Whit. Good morning. Yeah, health officials are sounding the alarm amid a rise in mosquito-borne illnesses, including the West Nile virus and Eastern equine encephalitis, or Triple E. In New Jersey, 2 older adults died of West Nile virus. The number of cases in the state now up to 8. It comes just one day after officials in Wisconsin reported 2 people dead because of West Nile. This morning, around 290 cases reported across 30 states. And while most people infected with West Nile don't get any symptoms, 1 in 150 people may develop serious, even fatal illnesses. Now,
So you think lockdowns are going to help this? It's a mosquito. Yeah. CDC issuing a travel warning. Here's more.
The CDC issued. Health officials are warning travelers about a painful mosquito-borne virus. On Friday, the CDC issued a travel warning about an outbreak in South China. It's called chikungunya. We spoke with 3 different specialists about the disease.
It's a very unpleasant virus. If you get it, it causes severe pain. Most people survive it, which is good. It usually happens within 3 to 7 days after a person's bitten by that mosquito.
Chikungunya is spread by infected mosquitoes, mainly Aedes aegypti, pictured here.
How long has it been around?
It's been around many, many decades. At least we've recognized it for many, many decades.
John Swartzberg said it is an emerging infectious disease. According to the European CDC, there have been about 240,000 infections globally this year. It's been 6 years since someone caught it in the U.S.
It's something that we're probably going to be seeing here in this country with climate change, and that means that the range of the mosquito that transmits this is going to change its range, and that brings it into the United States. The possibility of having chikungunya is definitely real.
A couple of years ago, Aedes aegypti were detected in Santa Clara County. Taylor Kelly works with the Vector Control District in their surveillance division. She helps set traps and monitors populations.
It is a really important mosquito. It's a backyard breeding mosquito, so it's a very serious public nuisance. And it also is able to vector these diseases such as dengue, chikungunya, and Zika virus that are important threats to public health.
Since we do have mosquitoes that can carry chikungunya here in Santa Clara County, people are encouraged to call the health department if they experience any day-biting mosquitoes, unlike the usual times at dusk or dawn.
Again, it's a small black mosquito with white stripes on the body and the leg. You need to let the health department know.
There are 2 vaccinations approved for travelers who are visiting an area with an outbreak. Health officials are warning.
Okay. The fear factor is being amplified. And yeah, it looks like we have a prophet of doom who did he have inside knowledge of this? I don't know. Let's keep going, find out more. America's Newsroom discussing the CDC travel warning.
Well, the CDC has issued a level 2 travel warning when it comes to mainland China because of the chikungunya virus. Now, the virus is not just in mainland China. It's also popping up in Bolivia, island territories in the Indian Ocean, even Central and South America. We'll give you everything you need to know about that. And also the cases of Legionnaire's disease popping up all throughout Harlem, Manhattan, and other places in the United States. Coming up on America's Newsroom. Well, the CDC has issued a...
Let's see, we have this from ABC News Live.
Chikungunya. Warning from the CDC about an outbreak of chikungunya in China. What do we need to know about that?
Chikungunya is a virus that is spread from 2 different types of Aedes mosquitoes, the same mosquitoes that can spread Zika and dengue. Now, even though there are hundreds of thousands of cases a year, it is relatively rare in the United States. But these vector-borne illnesses, these are illnesses spread by bugs, such as ticks and mosquitoes, are on the rise. So it is important that we're paying attention to these outbreaks that can happen after monsoons. People are aware and realize that with climate change, hotter and wetter climates, the bugs are happy, and it's up to us to be proactive.
Warning from the CDC about an outbreak of chikungunya.
The bugs are happy, blaming climate change, the usual suspects here. Check this out. This is Fox's take.
A travel tonight, a viral outbreak in China prompts the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, to issue a travel warning. More than 7,000 cases of this disease have been reported so far. State Department correspondent Jillian Turner has details tonight live from the State Department. Good evening, Jillian.
Good evening, Brett. The CDC, as you mentioned, is warning Americans traveling to China about chikungunya. It is a virus that spreads to humans through infected mosquito bites. It can cause severe illness with symptoms that mimic pretty closely dengue fever and Zika virus, mostly found in Africa. Here's what the CDC says about it. They say most people infected get better within a week. However, some can have severe joint pain for months to years. Other symptoms include severe fever and fatigue. The outbreak now is in the Chinese province Guangdong. It's near Hong Kong, with more than 7,000 cases reported so far, prompting some pretty dramatic measures to contain the spread, like mandatory insect repellent blasts for people entering the area, mandatory property checks for stagnant water, which attracts mosquitoes, and when found is now punishable by fines or even arrest.
If you happen to get this, they're quarantining you in hospitals with mosquito netting and not letting you out for a week. These are the kind of draconian responses we saw with COVID. We're seeing it again.
The CDC says Americans traveling to 8 other countries are also at elevated risk of exposure to the virus, even if there is no current outbreak there. People at risk for more severe cases of chikungunya include newborns, seniors 65 years and up, as well as people with diabetes or heart disease. Now, the good news is that unlike COVID, deaths from this disease are exceedingly rare. You can also protect yourself by getting vaccinated against it or by preventing mosquito bites in the first place through all the usual mechanisms, insect repellent, netting, wearing long sleeves, and staying in air conditioning. Brett?
Jillian Turner,
yeah,
live.
so just get some mosquito netting, some bug spray. Okay. But is this going to be like COVID 2.0? Certainly hope not. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So here we go again. China's communist regime is using mosquitoes as the latest excuse to imprison its own people. 7,000 infected, entire neighborhoods sealed, drones overhead, chemical fog everywhere. It's COVID tyranny with wings, but here's what should terrify every American. Dr. Peter Hotez predicted disease outbreaks by mosquitoes right after Trump took office. Okay? Certainly looks planned. While Beijing deploys its authoritarian playbook again, the CDC rushes out travel warnings and the media starts their fear campaign. They want you scared, they want you compliant, and ready for whatever emergency powers they will demand next. I mean, what simple remedies can you find to fight these viruses? They're out there, but don't expect China, our own health bureaucrats, to admit it. They need the fear, they need the control. So here's my question. Do you believe this outbreak is natural or is it manufactured? Is this COVID 2.0? Let me know in the comments. Make sure you want to support the show. Go on to our Next News gear shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork. The link is down below. All right, let's see what we have here. No super chats to speak of at the moment. But, yeah, Tim, you're like, yeah, get yourself one, right? Lemongrass and peppermint. Do they want you to get vaccinated? Manufactured, you say? Every time they say chikungunya, they just laugh. Manufactured. Buy some good mosquito spray. If you ever want to know anything about mosquitoes, just ask. I run a pest control company. We specialize in mosquitoes. Joseph, I freaking hate mosquitoes, man. I hate mosquitoes. Oh, my goodness, man. I bought one of those things from my backyard. You can hang it, and then, like it's a fan. It, like, sucks them in, and supposedly, like, man, it was full of nasty stuff. COVID 2.0. Crushed sage with cream. Help me. Help me. I got some chickens in my gunya. A bug zapper? No, it wasn't a bug zapper. It was something worse. It like sucked them in. Like there was like a thing and a fan and like pulled them in and they couldn't get out. And you'd see them just crawling around in there. It's a massive device. Okay, let's find out. Let's find out what our trivia answer is. Let's see what you guys said first. You guys said it was forced abortions and fines, and you were correct. Well done. You did not let me down this time. Forced abortion and fines. China's brutal one-child policy included forced abortions, sterilizations, and massive fines, proving their tyranny isn't new. Just the excuses change. We're going to move right into the latest revelations on the Russia hoax as it continues to unravel. But first, a trivia question. What did the FBI use to spy on Martin Luther King Jr. in the 1960s? A, Russian nesting doll cameras. B, wiretaps and hotel room bugs. C, trained communist pigeons. Or D, Hillary's personal email server. Well, I was just down there in Memphis with my family, taking my kids to see the spot where Martin Luther King was assassinated. I had a nice solemn moment with my children. Got to show them history, right? And, of course, tell them the truth about what really happened. All right, let's get into our third topic because there's some big breaking news here. And I want to see the MAGA voice real quick, guys. Todd, MAGA voice, that's the declassified emails I'm going to be presenting. Okay, I just want to make sure I've got all this set up because we've got our hook. Okay, so I'm just going through this real quick. I want to make sure I've got everything lined up. Okay. Got some big breaking news. Bombshell declassified emails have just dropped, and they prove everything that we've been saying about the Russia hoax. DNI, Tulsi Gabbard just exposed how Obama's intelligence chiefs manufactured fake evidence as a team sport. That's right. When NSA Director Mike Rogers warned that he didn't have time to verify the intelligence, James Clapper's response was chilling. We may have to compromise on our normal modalities. More time is not negotiable. Translation? The truth doesn't matter, just get Trump. These are not conspiracy theories anymore. These are their own words in writing, admitting they violated protocols and compromised standards on direct orders from the top. The criminals who weaponize our intelligence agencies against the president are finally now exposed. The evidence is undeniable, and we're going to show it all to you right now. While we're finally getting justice for the Russia hoax, there is something else that's been proven over time. The legendary Chuck Norris. Now, I recently saw a video he made. I was shocked. He's in his 80s. He's still kicking butt. He's still working out, staying active. What's even more shocking is he's stronger. He can work out longer. He's got energy left for his grandkids. And he did this by making one change. He says he still feels like he's in his 50s. His wife started doing this one thing, too. She's never felt better, feels 10 years younger, looks leaner, has energy all day. And Chuck made a special video explaining everything. You can watch it. It's a link in the description. chuckdefense.com/next. Link down below. You will not believe just how simple it really is. Now, this is huge breaking news. Here is what the newly declassified email shows. And it is jaw-dropping. You can see it on the screen here. In December of 2016, just weeks before Trump took office, James Clapper told the NSA Director Mike Rogers that that's our story and we're sticking to it. Think about that. Not let's go get to the truth, but here's the script. That's what he said. He admitted that they'd have to compromise on our normal modalities, intel speak, for tossing out the rule book to rush out the so-called Russia assessment. Why? Because time was not negotiable. Okay, this was intelligence. This was not intelligence gathering. It was political theater manufactured in the final days of the Obama administration. And it was designed to smear an incoming president. And what did they call it? They called it a team sport. And of course it was. The team was the CIA, the FBI, the NSA, all working together, not for the truth, but for the narrative. And here's the part they don't want you to focus on. In that same exchange, let's take a look here. Brian, bring up this full feed. I'm going to bring it up here. In the same exchange, NSA Director Mike Rogers, he admits his analysts hadn't had time to access or fully review the intelligence. They weren't confident enough to say, yes, this is rock solid. That's a massive red flag in the intelligence world. You don't make sweeping conclusions without exhausting every lead, every source, and every file. But instead of saying, let's slow down and let's get it right. Clapper told them more times was not negotiable. They deliberately pushed forward knowing the review wasn't complete. And that's not oversight. That is willful negligence. They needed a product, not the truth. And the product was the Russia hoax, gift-wrapped and ready, just in time to cripple an incoming president. Now, George Papadopoulos, who is a friend of mine, just appeared on One American News with the former Representative Matt Gaetz. He breaks down how the intel agencies and a willing media cooperated to perpetuate the Russia hoax scandal.
Basically took the... Looking back on the Russia hoax and now seeing how it played out, what would you advise just on kind of the information warfare tradecraft that we saw in those 2017, 2018 years?
Yeah, I mean, I would have never thought in my life, after, having a pretty, relative upward swing in D.C. politics, I would be caught between a rock and a attempted coup against a sitting president. And that's really what this was. And it basically took the collective efforts of the intelligence agencies, foreign intelligence agencies, and a willing media to do the dirty work. And that's really what this major scandal is, Matt, because if you look throughout history, when you look at communist states, totalitarian states, whenever they weaponize the legal system in pursuit of political power to maintain power or to basically stifle dissent, the way that happened in 2015, 2016, the media is the first to expose those type of tactics, the tradecraft that went into the intelligence agencies and that tin pot dictator. But what happened in this situation? We basically were living in a banana republic under Obama, in which the media was willing and willfully cooperating with this scandal. That's what really differentiates what we have seen historically in some of the most dark, disturbing totalitarian systems versus what the Obama regime put the American people through. And I think moving forward, as history is finally corrected and written with the truth and not with the narrative of the Obama administration or of the intel agencies, Barack Obama will go down in history as one of the most corrupt and evil presidents that America's ever seen.
Looking back...
Oh, yeah. History is going to be written. And Obama's name is going to have a serious stain next to it. That's why we have to write the history books, folks. And we're writing the history books right now. Right here on this show. This is a record of history. And you're a part of it. Obama's order to create the manufactured January 2017 ICA about Russia expose how DNI Clapper demanded the IC fall in line behind the Russia hoax, and Clapper admits it was a team sport that required compromise of our normal modalities. Here's more. This is the post from DNI Gabbard that has just dropped. These are the top secret emails that she has just posted earlier today. Newly declassified top secret emails sent on December 22nd of 2016, complying with President Obama's order to create the manufactured January 2017 ICA about Russia's expose how DNI and James Clapper demanded they fall in line. And she posted, read it for yourself. Here it is. Now declassified, approved for release by the DNI on August 12th, 2025. History is unfolding on your screen right now. So what's this guy got to say? Tulsi Gabbard just announced newly declassified emails. Let's listen.
Names in U.S. So Tulsi Gabbard just announced newly declassified emails from December 2016, and they are raising eyebrows. They involve some of the most powerful names in U.S. intelligence. These messages, now public, show then Director of National Intelligence James Clapper telling fellow intelligence leaders that the upcoming Russia assessment needed to be a team sport and that it might require compromise on our normal modalities. Now, in plain English, that means getting every agency on the same page, even if that meant adjusting their usual processes. One of the replies from NSA Director Michael Rogers expressed concern about rushing the work, warning they needed enough time to review the intelligence before finalizing conclusions. These newly declassified emails possibly show pressure to unify the narrative, and it also seems to allegedly be rushed. It's the first time the public is seeing these exact words, and they come from the very top of the intelligence community. If this is all true, they were everything that they tried to tell us Trump was. Have a great night. So Tulsi Gabbard
Tulsi Gabbard dropping the biggest bomb, and it is time for arrests immediately. Let's see James Clapper do the perp walk. Wouldn't you like to see that? But of course, remember those other declassified messages we saw, that Hillary Clinton approved it all. Went right to Barack Obama. Gabbard declassifying email between Clapper and Rogers regarding Russiagate. Andy McCabe, this was posted just 5 hours ago. Andy McCabe was worried he was going to be fired, so he found a team of co-conspirators who would make sure to continue the Russia collusion hoax. I wonder if any of these propagandists have since reported the truth. I'm guessing they're all still lying. Andrew McCabe, you know, he's a MSNBC contributor now.
Comey was fired. Extraordinary revelations in his first TV interview since being fired. The former FBI's former director is telling 60 Minutes why he launched investigations into President Trump. If you remember, Andrew McCabe was a career official at the Justice Department who oversaw the Bureau's investigations into Russia's election meddling and Hillary Clinton's emails. He took over as acting FBI director in May of 2017 after James Comey was fired. In his new book, The Threat: How the FBI Protects America in the Age of Terror and Trump, McCabe describes extraordinary measures Justice Department officials took after Comey's firing. He says he was concerned about the president's possible ties to Russia.
Now, remember... Isn't that hilarious? That's an old report. But, yeah, Andy McCabe's probably going to be doing the perp walk, too, even writing books about it. Former NSA exposes how the evidence was created that implicated Russia in the Russiagate hoax. Check this out.
To break in there. And let me say this, and I don't know if Bill will agree with me or not. ATP 2829, the so-called Russian tool that we used to hack the DNC, Sean, we did it. Not me, but our guys. Former members of NSA, retired intelligence officers, use these tools to break in there and get the information out. That's what the Democrats don't want to talk about because it doesn't fit their narrative.
You know that for a fact? You know the Democrats did it, or that former operatives did it, using the malware techniques that they put the Russians' fingerprints on it and make it appear like the Russians. In other words, you're telling me this whole Russian story that the media has been running with for months and months and months, that it was our people that did it and they just put the fingerprints of the Russians on it?
That's right. And let me say this.
I remember when that clip came out. That's an old clip, but it provides a very important context to what's happening now. Oh, and speaking of context, let's go to Adam Schiff back in 2018. He said the Russia hoax was of size and scope probably beyond Watergate. Well, now, this whole thing is actually beyond the size and scope of Watergate. Turns out Schiff personally approved leaking classified documents to the media to smear President Trump. Let's flashback, shall we?
Well, it is like Watergate in the sense that you had a break-in at the Democratic headquarters, in this case a virtual one, not a physical break-in, and you had a president as part of a cover-up, and here you have a president doing a different kind of cover-up. You have a president peddling these falsehoods, and you have essentially people putting out propaganda like Rudy Giuliani to further that fiction. It is, I think, of a size and scope probably beyond Watergate, just not the Watergate the president is referring to.
Or not. Well, man, that guy just lied every single day. Here is President Trump slamming Schiff over the Russia hoax. Listen to this. He was asked about Putin, and Trump says he doubts he can stop attacks, but listen to what he does.
When you meet with Vladimir Putin Friday in Alaska,
Yeah.
do you believe you can convince him to stop targeting civilians in Ukraine?
Well, I'll tell you what, I've had that conversation with him. I've had a lot of good conversations with him. Then I go home and I see that a rocket hit a nursing home or a rocket hit an apartment building and people are laying dead in the street. So I guess the answer to that is no, because I've had this conversation. I want to end the war. It's Biden's war, but I want to end it. I'll be very proud to end this war along with the 5 other wars I ended. But I guess the answer to that is probably no, because I would have had a good conversation with Vladimir. I knew him very well. I got along with him great, actually. We had I had to go through the Russia hoax. And it was actually, it was a strain on the relationship. I actually told him, I said, you know, they got this phony investigation going on, Russia, totally phony, created by Adam
Shifty Schiff and Hillary Clinton and the whole group of them. And it made it very dangerous for our country because I was unable to really deal with Russia the way we should have been. I'm looking at Pam because I hope something's going to be done about it. These people put our country at great danger. And Adam Schiff, it was all made up. It was a hoax. The Mueller report came out. They all hated me. They had 18 Trump haters. And they said I did nothing wrong. They couldn't believe, they couldn't find anything. After years of investigation, it was all a hoax. It was a hoax created by the Democrats, but in particular Schiff and Crooked Hillary, the whole group. And now we've learned all the stuff that's come out over the last 2 months is incredible through intelligence. And hopefully something's going to happen with it. These are people that put our country in danger, in real danger. I want to thank you all very much. Thank you.
They did put our country in danger, and they all deserve to be arrested immediately. Just revealed, former FBI Chief Chris Wray allowed Adam Schiff to leak classified documents to the press. Is Wray ever going to face justice? I mean, now add his name to the list. Yesterday we brought up Bill Barr, Adam Schiff. Let's check out what Matt Taibbi is saying about Russia indictments coming for Hillary Clinton as a target. He says, I keep being told Hillary Clinton is actually a target in these investigations. It may turn out her original email situation will be wrapped into some kind of conspiracy case. Holy cow.
Political failure for them. I think there are going to be indictments. I was very skeptical on that question even a couple of weeks ago, but I have heard repeatedly from these folks that they understand that this is not a hearts and minds contest and that they are not doing this for show, and that if they don't end up in a courtroom, that this will be a massive political failure for them. So I do think that there will be significant indictments. I just don't know what for. I mean, I think that's a very important question to ask right now. We know a grand jury has been convened, but they haven't really given us a strong indication about what crimes they might be investigating.
It has to be that. I mean, that's what we've seen with all of these things. I mean, even the Durham thing that just came up, you know, the cases that he made, right? The guy pleaded guilty to fuck him with an email. And then the other two guys, it was you lied to us, and they lost both cases. So, you know, that's what it always comes down to.
So that's a good point. But what I've heard from these folks is that they understand how the optics of that and what that looks like to voters, and they are going to try for, I think, something more substantive, even if it comes up short.
Do you think that the Clintons wind up being exposed to prosecution?
I keep being told that. I'm not sure I understand how that can be the case. But I keep being told that Hillary Clinton is actually a target in these investigations. It may turn out that something having to do with her original email situation will be wrapped into some kind of conspiracy case, but I don't know what it is, and I don't see it. So this is me, the careful reporter, saying I would caution people not to think that there's anything there yet before we see it.
But we did see it, Matt. We did. I mean, we presented it right here on the show in black and white. The actual email that Hillary approved what Smith presented to her. And then it went to Obama's desk and it was carried out by the intelligence agency. So that's where it all began. Remember? And then she got fined $8,000 for it. I mean, there's a paper trail. So I think we all know where this is going. And he makes a good point. He says they wouldn't be going this hard to drop the ball. They have to produce results. Because if they don't, they're going to fail. They're going to absolutely fail. They're going to fumble. Everyone's going to see it. It's going to be the biggest failure of the Trump administration to begin this investigation and then take it nowhere. And we're going to be watching. And we're going to be reporting history just for you. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So finally, after years of gaslighting America, the Russia hoax architects might actually face consequences. Now, these are not conspiracy theories anymore. These are declassified documents proving Obama, Clapper, and Brennan manufactured evidence to frame a sitting president. Adam Schiff leaking classified intel while pretending to investigate. Chris Wray let it happen. Hillary Clinton may finally answer for her role in the greatest political scandal in American history. They destroyed lives. You saw George Papadopoulos. His life was destroyed in that moment. They divided our nation. They poisoned relations with Russia and nearly overthrew a democratically elected president, all based on lies that they knew were lies from day one. Former NSA officials confirmed the evidence was fabricated. McCabe recruited conspirators to keep the hoax alive. The media amplified every single false claim. So now the bill comes due. So here's my question for you. Should Hillary Clinton be the first one indicted? Yes or no? And if you have a favorite you want to see indicted, maybe drop their name in the comments. You can support real journalism. You can check out our merch shop. Link down below, where the truth always wins, at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Okay, looks like we have a super chat to bring to your attention. A couple, actually. Maine Arbor, they need to stop Trump somehow. Ha ha ha. Yeah, $2. Thank you. El Chingon. What, Gary? Hello to you, the family, and your awesome fans. What up to all at your show and InfoWars. 1776 worldwide. Jesus, protect us all and give us strength to fight on. Amen. Amen indeed. Thank you for that $20. And Sharon, dropping $5, she says, I'm a hillbilly, and we eat horse paste and caught COVID and didn't trust the government, so no jab. Eat horse. All right, Sharon. Thank you for that. Hopefully we don't get demonetized for reading that, but we appreciate your $5 contribution. And now it's time for our trivia answer. You guys said wiretaps and hotel room bugs. You were correct. The FBI illegally bugged MLK's hotel rooms and wiretapped his phones. Same agency, different decade, same dirty tricks against Americans. Our next topic, we're going to talk about the massive turnaround at the border. Lots to celebrate there, but first, a trivia question. How many miles of border fence existed when Reagan was president? A, 0, just the cowboy honor system. B, 14 miles in San Diego. C, 2,000 miles of picket fence. Or D, 5 miles of Lego wall. We'll see what your answers are in the chat or in the comments or in the poll. Three months, 0 crossings. Let that sink in. After inheriting the worst border crisis in American history, millions of illegals, cartel armies, fentanyl floods, President Trump has done what they said was impossible, but the victory goes beyond the border. In Kentucky, a whistleblower just exposed state employees selling driver's licenses to illegals for $200 a pop. No tests, no questions, just cash. The transformation is so complete that Mexico just handed over 26 cartel kingpins in one massive extradition. ICE is arresting so many criminals that they're running out of detention space. From license fraud to sanctuary city showdowns, the entire illegal immigration industry is in chaos. And what comes next will finish the job. Stay tuned. So the border victory proves what's possible when leadership takes action. Speaking of taking action for your future as we age, our body's collagen production declines, leading to visible signs of aging like wrinkles, sagging skin, crow's feet, and smile lines. By the time we reach our 40s, collagen levels have significantly decreased, dropping another % every year afterwards. Collagen makes up a third of our skin's protein, giving structure and strength. So replenishing it is crucial, and that's exactly why I rely on Ageless Multi-Collagen for years. This formula includes 5 key types of collagen from 4 premium sources, blended into hydrolyzed peptides your body absorbs faster. Every order today also donates a meal to a hungry child through NoKidHungry.org. Get 51% off at healthwithgary.com. You'll find it linked down below, and we thank them for their sponsorship of this program. Now, this just in. This is breaking. We finally have hard proof. Democrats gave $6 billion to a conglomerate of the United Nations agencies and over 200 NGOs to facilitate the illegal immigration invasion of America. The United Nations. Think about that for a second. We need to disband the United Nations. What good are they? They're facilitating the invasion of our country? Sounds like an enemy occupier to me. And they're over there in New York with their big shiny building, about to have a massive meeting. No. Kick them out, all of them. It was the United Nations who tried to take down America with the Democrat regime. Let's listen to Mike Howell talking with the Oversight Project with Mr. Brecken, the committee chair.
NGOs or not.
I now recognize Mr. Mike Howell for 5 minutes for his opening statement.
Members of the subcommittee, thank you for the opportunity to testify about the role of NGOs or non-governmental organizations in facilitating mass illegal immigration. I currently serve as the executive director of the Oversight Project and previously was at DHS and on Capitol Hill conducting oversight of immigration matters. The United States of America is still reeling from the worst border invasion in its history. This was an invasion that was planned, promoted, encouraged, funded, and sustained by radical elements of the previous administration. But this invasion could not have been accomplished without a colossal partnership with the NGO community. Simply put, the government just did not have the capacity to get this many people in and around the country without the support of the nonprofits. And to that end, they gave them almost $6 billion to a conglomerate of UN agencies and over 200 NGOs to do just that, according to statistics from the Center for Immigration Studies. The result was that Border Patrol became a daycare. They became Uber drivers just to shuttle illegals to the nonprofits to get them around the country. Now, the Oversight Project has led the way in exposing what I call this border industrial complex. In December of 2022, we did the first of its kind study where we tracked illegal aliens by their cell phones as they went through these nonprofits at the border. In just a 1-month period, in tracking 30,000 devices, so a very small subset of the 10 million that Biden had crossed the border, we found out that the illegals went to nearly every single congressional district in the United States. We proved that every town was indeed a border town.
I now recognize Mr. Mike Howell.
Do you recognize what that does when they take into account those numbers in the census? How it can absolutely wreak havoc on our congressional representation in Washington, D.C.? Here's President Trump at the Kennedy Center talking about the border crossings.
Jails. This will be like the border. We started off with millions and millions of people coming in from all over the world, gang members and people from jails. They were unloading their jails into our country. All over the world they were coming, drug dealers. They came from Africa. They came from Asia. They came from South America, Venezuela in particular. They were coming in, Trinidad, and the toughest people you've ever seen. And by the millions. And for the last 3 months, we had 0, 0, and 0. We had 0 people come in for 3 months. They respect our country again. That's the other thing. All over the world, our country is respected again. This will be like the border. We started off with millions.
Because they know what's happening. Here we have Secretary Noem just about 60 minutes ago, posted by Rapid Response 47. She says ICE has received 110,000 applications as a result of the massive recruitment blitz made possible by President Trump.
Of what's happening in this country.
You have already well over 100,000 applications?
We do. In fact, as of today, about 110,000 applications in less than 2 weeks. And that's what I find so encouraging is it's clear the American people are behind President Trump and these officers. They have their backs and they want to be a part of what's happening in this country by making it safe again. So despite what, the fake news says, despite what the liberals and the socialists and the Marxists are parroting every single day out in their communities and to their supporters, it's just not true. The American people are so happy and they're excited excited about the fact that the rule of law is going to apply to everybody, and that Americans and citizens who follow the law should be prioritized, and that President Trump is doing exactly that. So to have that many applications means that we're going to hire the best of the best, and individuals who have experience can get qualified for their ICE badge as soon as possible and hit the streets so that they can make sure that these families get to live safely again.
Yeah, they wouldn't have been joining under the Biden administration, that's for sure. Here is a report from Kentucky. A resident and contract employee, Melissa Mormon, was fired after blowing the whistle on coworkers for selling driver's licenses to illegal aliens for $200 a pop, each in multiple Kentucky licensing bureaus.
Didn't want this out. Fraud inside Kentucky's transportation cabinet. Licenses issued without a driver's test.
It is an ongoing WDRB investigation, and tonight we hear from a whistleblower who says coworkers used her login to pull off this scheme.
Employees were being paid underneath the table.
They say sometimes
I immediately let my supervisor know about it.
truth hurts.
Did you ever think that this would cost you your job?
No.
And for Melissa Mormon,
I was angry for a long time.
this is one of those.
It hurts me that I'm talking about this, and I actually like where I was working at.
Times.
I came into the office that day. My computer was shut down. I was told to go to the front door. Detectives came in. They interviewed me. That was it.
Mormon says she was fired 3 months after she sent this letter to the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, blowing the whistle that workers at the NIA Center licensing branch were selling driver's licenses under the table to people who never took the driver's test.
Undocumented workers.
How did it work? What was going on?
The undocumented workers would come into the office in groups. They would provide them either permits or driver's license illegally. So they were bypassed without even taking the test.
How much?
$200 a person.
Up to 5 times a day, she says.
Was this an everyday thing?
Almost, yes.
Didn't want this out. Fraud.
What do you think about that? How many were illegals? Unbelievable. Here we have more. Contract employee turned whistleblower explains how 2 of her coworkers tried to get her to join her in that scheme.
License or permit.
I found out it may have been going on for a couple of years before it was found out.
We're told it wasn't as simple as people getting state-issued driver's license or permits without taking the test. She says 2 of her colleagues at the NIA Center approached her with a business venture, asking if she wanted to get in on the scheme.
I was asked to bring certain customers in, and they are brought in to me without signing in. And you would scan their documents as usual.
Documents made to look legitimate, like birth certificates and social security cards, according to the letter she wrote to the state. But a key to pulling off this scheme was making sure the required Homeland Security screening was never run.
I start getting these emails saying, are you doing this? Are you doing this? Are you doing this?
And that's where it unraveled. She says those workers were using her login.
I found out it may have been going on.
Bypassing Homeland Security, using fraudulent documents, sounds like the perfect scheme to bring illegals driver's licenses. Representative David Kustoff says that under President Trump's leadership, we're reversing failed policies, securing our borders, and putting America first.
Both ICE and the town of Mason approved contracts with both ICE and the Tennessee-based private prison company CoreCivic. Mason is about 45 miles north of Memphis, and it's the site of the West Tennessee Detention Facility. The CoreCivic-owned prison closed several years ago. Now it's going to reopen as an ICE detention facility housing undocumented immigrants. The town of Mason approved contracts with both ICE.
Perfect repurposing. Here's more from President Trump at the Kennedy Center.
I was getting very close. Well, I built hundreds of miles of wall, and I was getting very close. I actually finished the wall, but then I added another 200 miles because when you do the original wall that I said I was going to build, which I got built, and I got it to the specifications of the Border Patrol and ICE, the exact. They wanted steel, they wanted concrete inside, they wanted rebar inside that, they wanted it to have wires. We have the walls are wired for, you know, all of the internet stuff and security things. And we built it hundreds of miles. We did great. That's one of the reasons even now we're able to have such good numbers at zero, or essentially very little people coming in. But Biden, I ordered for another 200 miles. I was going to do another 200 because it's the way it is. And we're all set to do it. Then we had the bad election result, the horrible, what happened to our country, what they've allowed to happen to our country. And we are taking now that wall back. They sold the wall. Now, this is expensive stuff. Hardened steel, very expensive. 9,000-pound concrete and rebar. Rebar is very expensive, the hardest rebar. No, it's very hard to cut. You have different materials. It's very hard to cut because they cut it down if they can. It's very hard to cut. And Biden sold it for pennies on the dollar, 3 cents on the dollar, 4 cents on the dollar. He sold it. And I said, these guys really don't want it. That was when I first realized, when I saw the wall was being put up, because we could have finished the rest of the wall in about 4 weeks, anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks. It was all set to go. It was laying down, ready to be put up. The foundations were, and they took over, and they said, we're going to sell the wall. And they sold it, as you know, for pennies on the dollar. Well, Pam Bondi's been working very hard on suing that company, and I think they reached a settlement where we're taking the wall back. But they stole the wall from us. That wall is so expensive to build, and we had it, as you know, hundreds of miles of it, and they came along and they basically sold it for scrap. And what a shame that is. But that was when I first realized that these people actually want to have open borders. Well,
open borders. It's absolute, it's treason what they did. Oh, man. Oh, here's Homeland Security posting this. Disgusting. There was any doubt that the congresswoman from Illinois is fighting for illegal aliens over her actual constituents. Here she is proudly claiming that her family is undocumented. What?
Watching that foot about that. I mean, for us members of Congress, for me, who is a daughter of immigrants, who half my family is still undocumented, watching that foot about that.
It looks like someone's going to be getting a knock on the door. Sitting Congresswoman Delia Ramirez, Illinois, calls our brave ICE Gov law enforcement a terrorist organization.
To call out. Well, Tom Homan, let me tell you, all over the country, we will continue to stand up for our rights, and we will continue to call out the terrorist organization that is ICE. Well, Tom Homan, let me tell you.
Yeah, who in your family are undocumented? Yeah, you calling Homan's organization terrorists? You might just be getting a knock on your door. Here we have in news on a massive cartel takedown, 26 kingpins extradited to the United States. In an unprecedented move, Mexico has extradited 26 high-ranking cartel leaders. Check this out.
County Sheriff. On to a Fox News alert. Mexico has extradited 26 high-ranking cartel members, including top leaders from the Sinaloa, Jalisco, and Noreste cartels to the U.S. That also includes one suspect who is accused of participating in the 2008 killing of a Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputy. Attorney General Pam Bondi writing, quote, "These 26 men have all played a role in bringing violence and drugs to American shores. Under this Department of Justice, they will face severe consequences for their crimes against this country."
From what I'm reading, these 26 individuals, cartel members or leaders, I believe that the U.S. promised to seek the death penalty in order, as part of the deal, to get them here. What's Mexico's, what is their incentive to send those folks here?
Well, if you remember, when the Trump administration designated the cartels as a foreign terrorist organization, obviously the Mexican government got incredibly nervous about that because that gives incredible power to the U.S. government to pursue the cartels. So the Mexican government is now cooperating with the U.S. government because it does not want U.S. forces going into Mexico to take care of the cartels, which have been a direct threat and have been terrorizing Americans, in which this administration is clearly not going to tolerate it. So what I find encouraging about this is the collaboration now between the U.S. government and the Mexican government so that, the Mexican government doesn't get any more of the direct kind of ire and attention from the Trump administration.
Yeah, a major win for the Trump administration because the last place these 26 cartel leaders would want to be is in U.S. custody. And our relationship with Mexico is unique when it comes to trade and also immigration. The timing of all this, what do you think about that and why this is happening right now?
Well, of course, President Trump is also threatening increased tariffs against Mexico. But really, Mexico still wants to be considered an ally of the United States. And in that press release that the Trump administration released designating the cartels as a foreign terrorist organization, it developed in that release, the connection between the Mexican government and the cartels, saying the Mexican government cannot tolerate the cartels. It certainly cannot enable and then be enriched by them. And there's been a U.S. concern increasingly that the Mexican government's not cracking down on the cartels and in fact is becoming enriched by them. So it's the combination, I think, of the U.S. government threatening increased tariffs and also taking a more adversarial look rather than a look of an ally and a trade partner.
Mexico's caving. They're sending them all. Here's a new immigration detention center coming to Colorado. ICE has run out of room.
30 miles north.
And a new immigration detention center is going to open in Colorado as the president tries to shore up his immigration enforcement plan.
And the new facility will open in Hudson, about 30 miles northeast of Denver, at a state prison, which is currently closed. Let's go live now to Fox 31's Shawl Turner in Hudson tonight with reaction. Shawl?
Well, ICE tells us they have just run out of room at the Aurora facility after making more arrests so far this fiscal year than in all of 2024.
If they can use it for something good, then I'm good with that.
And a new immigration detention center is going to open.
Use it for something good? I'm good with it. Let's check in with Tom Homan.
Back on the last. Here's why they're angry. Because we pulled the curtain back on the last 4 years of lawlessness of the Biden administration. They stood silent while a record number of women and children were sex trafficked in this country. Yeah. They stood silent when 250,000 Americans died from fentanyl coming across that open border. They stood silent when over 4,000 illegal aliens died making that journey. They stood silent. We had the largest number of known suspected terrorists entering this country through the open southwest border. They stood silent while a record number of Americans died, a record number of aliens died, and they pulled the curtain back on the most secure border that we handed them. Yeah. We handed them the most secure border in our lifetime, and they destroyed it on purpose. They're angry because we're winning. We're showing the American people how much damage the last administration did to this country.
Yeah, it's treason. There's no other way to cut it. Here's more from Tom Homan.
That's how meaningless she is to me. I don't even know who she is. That's how meaningless she is to me, for God's sakes. And look, she can stand up all she wants, but she better not impede. She better not cross the line. Look, I looked at the numbers this morning. We got a historic number of criminal prosecutions on people impeding and interfering ICE and during enforcement operations, so we're going to keep doing it. President Trump made a promise, 0 tolerance. You can hate ICE all you want. And here's what I'll say. As a member of Congress, calling ICE terrorists for enforcing the laws that you enacted, Congress created, I mean, for God's sakes, I mean, she's just proven to American people how not smart she is. But she's not going to stop what we're doing. You just saw 100,000 American patriots wanting to join ICE. We're coming to every sanctuary city of this nation. We're already there. But as I said before, we're doubling, tripling down on sanctuary cities, including her area. We're not going to stop doing what we're doing. President Trump, through ICE, is making this country safer. Every day, every public safety threat we take off the street makes her community safer. So you're welcome. I don't even know who
he's responding to Representative Ramirez, who we just showed you the video of her calling ICE terrorists and revealing that her family's undocumented. Yeah. It's laughable. Criminal illegal gangbangers have no place in America under President Trump. Secretary Noem, acting ICE Director Todd Lyons discusses the incredible work.
That's under Trump, 356 criminal illegal alien gang members were arrested in Houston. Compare that to 75 in the same time period under the Biden administration. That's a 375% increase. The total number of crimes committed by those 356, 1,685 included murder, child sex crimes, sex trafficking, arson, and theft. And I'm sure that those numbers are reflected across the country, Todd. These are the people that you're apprehending and targeting prioritization for removal.
Yeah, 100%, John. And you see that with the numbers out of the Houston office. You know, just nationwide, we've arrested more than 3,500 TDA gang members who are some of the worst criminals with an organization that's been designated a foreign terrorist group by the president. So you can see that those are the ones that we're focused on. So, you know, it's great that I can come on like today and highlight the good work the men and women of ICE are doing, because I don't think the American public as a whole realizes just exactly who ICE is going after every day. And these numbers show it.
If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. This is what winning looks like. 3 months of zero border crossings after Biden handed Trump millions of illegals, gang members, and enough fentanyl to kill every American twice. Now Mexico's extraditing cartel bosses faster than Democrats can cry about it. 26 kingpins in handcuffs, ICE running out of detention space because they're actually doing their job. Tennessee and Colorado reopening facilities. Kentucky busting license for cash schemes. And Trump even taking back the wall sections that Biden sold for scrap. Remember when they said the border couldn't be secured? When they called the wall racist? When sanctuary cities virtue signaled while Americans died from fentanyl? Tom Homan warned them. Every criminal removed makes their communities safer, whether they admit it or not. 250,000 Americans dead from fentanyl on Biden's watch. Now it's over. So here's my question. Should sanctuary city politicians be charged as accessories to trafficking? Yes or no? If you want to support the Next News Network, you can hit our merch shop. It's linked down below, where you can trigger a liberal today. It's shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. All right, let's see. We got some super chats. Yes, no, maybe so. We're at $42 tonight. Can we hit 100 tonight? I hope we can. El Chingon gifted 5 memberships. Thank you for that. And it looks like he also did another 5. Right on. So now we have 10 new members of the Next News family who have access to the behind-the-scenes videos, Discord, and special acknowledgement in the chat room. You can be one of them, too. And so we're at $42. Let's see if we can hit that 100. We're moving into our next topic of the evening. But before we do, let's get the answer to that trivia question. The answer was, in fact, B. You got it right. "14 miles in San Diego." Reagan had just 14 miles of fence in high-traffic San Diego. Trump inherited hundreds of miles and is finishing what others only talked about. All right. All right, we're moving into the big international news, the Trump-Putin summit on the horizon. But first, a question. Which U.S. president said, "I looked into Putin's soul after meeting with him"? Was it George W., the soul reader Bush, B, Barack Flexibility Obama, C, Bill Cigar Diplomat Clinton, or D, Jimmy Peanut Brain Carter? I looked into Putin's soul. I'm going to say George W. That's where I'm going. Sounds like something silly he'd say. I looked into Putin's soul. All right, let's find out what's going on. Let's see. Putin meeting. Here we go. Friday, Alaska. 2 leaders. 1 chance for peace. While Biden couldn't even get Putin to return his phone calls, President Trump has done what everybody said was impossible, secured a face-to-face summit that could end the bloodshed in Ukraine. But the war machine's in full panic mode. John Bolton's having a complete meltdown. Bill O'Reilly calling him a traitor. The military-industrial complex sees their profit margins evaporating. Even some Democrats are spreading lies, claiming Ukraine was winning when Trump took office, ignoring that Russia controlled 18% of Ukrainian territory. What Trump's bringing to this summit has Putin worried and the warmongers terrified. And the stakes could not be higher. So here's what's really on the table. Now, the summit could change everything. but lasting strength starts from within. You're getting older. I'm getting older. It's unavoidable. Until science figures out how to age in reverse, there's something we all face: joint pain. You've probably tried supplements promising miracles, but most don't work. And here's the one thing that has stood the test of time: turmeric. But standard turmeric barely gets absorbed, making it useless for serious pain. Dr. Josh Levitt created Golden Revive Plus using BCM 95 curcumin, which absorbs 200 times better, combined with boswellia for inflammation, magnesium for muscles, and bromelain for stiffness. I take it daily. No more morning stiffness, no more hesitation on stairs. Visit goldenrevive.com/NNN or just click below to start moving pain-free again. So, Mr. Mustache making the rounds on CNN. Dustin Mills writes, how do you know the Trump and Putin meeting is good for potential world peace? Warmongering lunatic clown John Bolton is against world peace. John Bolton is an ass clown of the world.
Well, it's very great.
I mean, you were in the room in 2018 in Helsinki when this happened. What do you make of the fact that Putin has now been invited to Alaska?
Well, it's very gracious of Putin to come to former Russian America for this summit. This is not quite as bad as Trump inviting the Taliban to Camp David to talk about the peace negotiations in Afghanistan, but it certainly reminds one of that. The only better place for Putin than Alaska would be if the summit were being held in Moscow. So the initial setup, I think, is a great victory for Putin. He's a rogue leader of a pariah state, and he's going to be welcomed into the United States. Second, I have a feeling this is sliding very quickly in Russia's direction. We're not quite back at February the 28th in the Oval Office when Trump told Zelensky, you don't have any cards. But what's happening is that Russia and the United States are discussing what terms they're going to present to Zelensky. And it may well be that Zelensky has no choice here. Surrendering is always one way to get a peace deal. And it seems to me, you listen to Trump talking about how things are progressing, that even without the meeting, Putin's got his old magic back with Trump. And all that disappointment, all that outrage, so on and so forth. Now you're talking about a deal between Trump and Putin. Think of the press that will get. I have to say, from the strategic perspective, from the U.S. interest perspective, this was not a good day.
Well, really, not a good day. We're talking about ending a war, ending the bloodshed, and it's not a good day. Bringing two world leaders together to discuss an end to what we have been paying for in Ukraine for years. Here is the former Trump acting chief of staff, Mick Mulvaney. He says, I know John Bolton. Bolton would say anything to make President Trump look bad.
Syndrome. I know Bolton. Bolton would say anything to make President Trump look bad. I don't know what that makes him. I don't know if it makes him a traitor or a miscreant or just an idiot. I'm not really sure. But he really, really hates the president. Trump derangement syndrome is a real thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And John Bolton
emotional
is as bad as anybody. I know Bolton.
Let's check in with the Secretary of Defense talking about this meeting that's going to happen on Friday. Historic.
Nobody else could have created the conditions that lead to a meeting like this.
Hasn't been there since 2015. Putin in the United States.
Nope. And certainly under Joe Biden, the violence raged, the war raged, and Putin never took him serious enough to even consider a meeting. So already President Trump has changed the game. He's created the conditions for a possible negotiated settlement, which is his goal from the beginning at a very complex battlefield. I don't think Vladimir Putin would be meeting unless he's felt that heat. And I think there's a chance. And the president's laid out the parameters, and so is Steve Witkoff and others who are in the. We're in the strength side of the peace through strength business, but on the negotiating side, there's going to be, could be land swaps. There's going to be concessions. No one's going to be happy, but if anybody can do it, it's going to be President Trump.
Do you remember just a couple of weeks ago when President Trump warned Vladimir Putin? He said, it might be 10 days, it might be 15 days. First, it was like 50 days. And then he's like, no, we're gonna turn up the timeline. Do you remember that? And now they're having a meeting within that time frame. Because President Trump said this is gonna come to an end, or else all hell's gonna break loose. And now they're actually meeting. Let's keep going here. Bill O'Reilly goes ballistic on John Bolton after his attack on the Trump-Putin-Alaska summit. Oh, this is going to be good.
With women and the man has nothing. Not one thing. If we're up to him, this will continue ad infinitum. With women and children getting slaughtered, he has no solution. Let me point out that the Taliban did come, and for 18 months, there was not one American killed in Afghanistan. You get that, Ambassador? Do you get that? He's all rhetoric. He's all hat, no cattle, as they say in Texas. And he hates Trump's guts. He hates him. He doesn't want him to succeed. So he'd rather have death and destruction in Ukraine than for Donald Trump to succeed. Is he a traitor?
So you think he doesn't?
Maybe.
Oh, come on. Come on, can't we have a reasonable disagreement about how to deal with Putin?
No, there's no disagreement. He has nothing. There's no two sides. All he does is Trump's an idiot. Trump's wrong. He doesn't have a solution. He never puts forth
well,
that.
to be fair,
come on, let's be honest.
He said the same thing. Yeah, and to be honest, he said the same thing always about Joe Biden. He's always critical, which he has a worldview.
What's the worldview? Let everybody die?
The worldview.
Drop a nuclear weapon?
Is that you
is
get
that the worldview?
No, come on, Bill. No, be fair.
How irresponsible is this? No. It's not disagreements. This guy is irresponsible. He's subverting something that might be successful because he hates Trump. It's like D.C. It's the same thing. You're opposed to putting more law enforcement in D.C. to protect human life. You're opposed to that. This is crazy.
Well, we're dealing with that.
A lot of other journalists. Wait a minute. You and a lot of other journalists, it's a false equivalency. Oh, it's a disagreement. There's no disagreement. He's got nothing, Bo. Zero.
Let me just okay.
And people are dying
for a second. Okay, people are dying. I don't think anybody wants the war in Ukraine to continue. Do you disagree that how the war in Ukraine ends matters?
What is Bolton? How's he going to end it? How?
I'm not asking
you. Don't know.
I'm asking you. Do you hold on? Do you agree that how the war in Ukraine
sanctions
ends
on Blad? You bleed Blad economically through the banking system, the world banking system. That's how you do it. Okay?
Right. Look, and to be fair, Joe Biden never would do that. Joe Biden would never do that. We have Democrats on the show who, he never did that. No, and Trump is willing to do more. But there's a difference between being willing to do more and actually doing it. I contend to you that
so beyond
the war
Joe
in Ukraine
Biden
ends matters.
Look, Leland, if there's one viewer watching News Nation tonight who thinks Joe Biden was a responsible president, you need to see a shrink. That's how bad the guy was. Putin spit in his face.
Okay, that's not what I'm saying, but fine. This is what I'm trying to understand, Bill. You and I think, both agree on a couple of things. One is that the war in Ukraine needs to come to an end. Two, I think, as you pointed out, it's not fair that the Ukrainians need to give up large parts of eastern Ukraine, but, they're going to have to. Now, can't reasonable people, including a lot of Republicans in the U.S. Senate who are supporters of Donald Trump, believe that Putin needs to be punished more because if he gets a deal of, he gets half of eastern Ukraine, he's just going to do what he always does, which is invade 6 months from now or restart the offensive in a year. How do you prevent that?
Define punish more. What do you want to do? Airborne in there? You want to nuke them? What do you want to do?
No, I think it's the point you just made, which is cripple his economy. Where the sanctions on China, the sanctions on Russia.
That's where we're heading. But you're not going to hear that from Bolton. All Bolton does is want to corrode the process. It makes me so angry because people are dying. This is not a game.
So does it? So if people are dying,
the man has
Leland Vittert, man, getting roasted by Bill O'Reilly on his own show. Let's check out what President Trump had to say at the Kennedy Center
Friday. Will Russia face any consequences if Vladimir Putin does not agree to stop the war after your meeting on Friday?
Yes, they will. Yeah.
What will the consequences
There will be
be?
consequences.
Sanctions, tariffs?
There will be, I don't have to say, there will be very severe consequences, yes.
There will be consequences. And here we have the Democrat Congressman Meeks claiming Ukraine was winning the war against Russia before Trump's inauguration. This is misleading by every metric.
So clearly, you are not in favor of this meeting happening without our European allies and Ukraine at the table. President Trump said yesterday that if he is unhappy with what
was Putin at the table when Zelensky showed up at the White House? Come on.
Putin says he may leave, and that'll be the end of it. Does that quell any of your concerns?
Because what again is happening is the United States is not standing up for our allies and not standing up with Ukraine. You know, when we were giving Ukraine what it needed, they were completely holding off Russia. In fact, they were winning. It is when some of my Republican allies in the House and in the Senate decided to stop funding and giving the Ukrainians what they need. And that's when the tide started to shift to a large degree, and Russia continued its aggression in a very big way. What we should be talking about, and I hope that some of my Republican colleagues would join on to my bill, which is stronger either than the Graham and the Blumenthal bill, which puts sanctions directly on Russia, not on third parties like India, and which does give the Ukrainians the kind of equipment that it needs, like ATACMS, so that it can knock out some of the weapons that the Russians are utilizing to attack Ukraine. That's what we were doing when we were giving them what they needed to defend themselves.
And what happened? Nothing. Russia controlled 18% of Ukraine's territory, including Crimea and Donbas strongholds, with Ukraine 2023 counteroffensive reclaiming less than 0.3 of the land. Severe funding delays and soldier shortages forced Ukraine to lower draft standards, conscripting men up to 60 years old. Russia's relentless offensive and foreign support outpaced Ukraine's defenses, misrepresenting this, risk distorting critical policy debates. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this is what leadership looks like. Okay? The defense secretary nailed it. Nobody else could have created these conditions. Under Biden, the violence raged, the war raged, and Putin wouldn't even take his calls. Now Trump has him coming to the table in Alaska, and he's not coming empty-handed. When asked if Russia will face consequences for refusing peace, Trump answered one word: yes. The war lobby's losing their minds. Bolton is ranting. The neocons are panicking. Even Bill O'Reilly is asking if Bolton's a traitor for wanting more death and destruction just to see Trump fail. Congressman Meeks lying about Ukraine winning before Trump. They controlled 18% of the territory and were bleeding out. Friday's summit will test whether peace through strength beats endless war profits. So here's my question. Is Bolton a traitor for opposing peace? Drop a yes or no down below, and you can check out our merch shop linked in the description. Okay, we don't have any more super chats, it looks like, to get to. No, okay. Not a good idea in this room. When we die, there is only I. Choose wisely. Russia has BRICS, then why should he care about sanctions? Boyd be typing. Yes, says the one and only. It's just not kind to minimize the seriousness of war. Bolton is whiny. Holy smokes, Batman. Spider-Man is a black Englishman from Great Britain. What? Thank you for posting that link, Karen. Tom B420 dropping $5 in the jar tonight. Thank you, sir. Let's check in with the answer to our trivia. You guys said it was A, and you were, in fact, correct. George Bush claimed that he looked into Putin's soul in 2001. Trump's looking at results and not souls and actually getting somewhere with it. All right, Patriots, what a show. We have just exposed the complete transformation of America under President Trump's leadership. And the establishment is in panic mode. So let's recap what's really happening while the mainstream media spins their fairy tales. In Washington, D.C., federal agents are flooding the streets and crime is plummeting. Even Democrats are secretly admitting that they want to feel safe in their own capital. Trump promised to make D.C. safe, clean, and beautiful. Promise made, promise kept. When you actually enforce the law, criminals run and citizens can walk free. And China's back to their authoritarian playbook, locking down entire districts over mosquitoes. 7,000 infected, drones overhead, chemical fog everywhere. Looks like another manufactured crisis designed to expand government control. And they never let a good emergency go to waste, do they? And the Russia hoax is now finally collapsing. Declassified documents prove Obama, Clapper, Brennan orchestrated the whole thing. Matt Taibbi says indictments are coming, maybe even for Hillary. After years of lies that divided our nation and nearly overthrew a president, justice might finally arrive. And at our border, we've achieved the impossible. 3 straight months of 0 illegal crossings. Mexico's extraditing cartel kingpins by the dozens. ICE is arresting so many criminals they need new detention centers. From Kentucky license fraud to sanctuary city showdowns, the entire human trafficking industry is crumbling. And Friday's Putin summit has the warmongers melting down. Trump warned Russia faces consequences if Putin won't make peace. Well, Biden couldn't even get a phone call. Trump's bringing both strength and solutions to the table. John Bolton would rather see endless death than see Trump succeed. That tells you everything. So to everybody who sent in super chats and rumble rants, you guys are the backbone of independent media. Your support keeps truth alive when big tech and corporate media want to silence. So special shout out again to our brother Pothead Kenny, celebrating his birthday. 54 years of fighting for freedom. Kenny, you represent everything great about Next News and the Next News Army. This is what winning looks like, folks. This is what happens when patriots stand together, when we refuse to accept the narrative, when we demand action instead of excuses. Every topic today proved the establishment's worst nightmare has come true. Americans are awake, they are engaged, and they are taking their country back. So tell a friend about the Raw Feed, text in the link, share the show on every platform, check out our merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com, and wear your support proudly from our President Otto Penn to Alligator Alcatraz. We've got gear that triggers liberals and supports real journalism. So thank you for joining the Raw Feed tonight. Thank you for standing for the truth. Thank you for being the media that they fear. We'll see you next time, Patriots. So keep on fighting, and happy birthday to Pothead Kenny.